How are you sounding in your cans?
I always sound great.
Okay.
You can tell. This sounds amazing. Nice setup.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.
So much. Here we go. Rick Glassman's Take Your Shoes Off podcast with Joel McHale, guest. Starts now.
Blabbity blue, scoop dee. Oh yeah.
Joel, so you have a friend in Italy.
Yeah.
You know, I did my research before you came over. I checked Wikipedia for about 25 seconds. I saw you were born in Rome.
Well done.
And I was hoping you could talk about that for like an hour.
I can, but I can't have you interrupt. So here we go. So my dad was born in 1939 in Chicago, Illinois. His name's John Patrick McHale. And one of six, my Grandma Marie raised the kids.
Grandma Marie?
I said not to interrupt. She raised six kids because their dad, who was a cop, died when my dad was 10. And again,
I'm sorry.
Whispering is still interrupting.
When someone talks about someone who died, you got to go, I'm sorry.
You got to interrupt again?
I think interrupting is
Rick,
less rude.
The good news about this podcast is that no one's going to hear it.
Okay, it's burned me good.
And that's where we can say anything.
Mm-hmm.
So your 2 interruptions in less than a minute, it's pretty rough. Not as interrupting as the ice sloshing back and forth in your Starbucks non-strawed iced Americano with cream.
You know, Joel, when we first met...
Don't remember. This is the first time we've met.
Well, the way I remember it is...
Okay.
You talked about how a lot of people don't realize how nice of a guy you are. Because you have this...
Yeah, I think they can tell from the first 3 minutes of this how nice I am.
This is the meanest you've ever been. And I got to tell you something, and I don't know if it's because I'm a glutton for punishment, but I'm a little turned on by it.
Oh.
This is like cool guy Joel. This is a Joel.
Little would be the key word there.
Burned me again.
See?
I think I know what it is. I think when the cameras are on, you turn on the
Do you really call these cameras?
Oh, geez. Come on. You said I have a nice
setup,
setup,
It looks like you
Joel.
raided a AV closet from a high school in 1995.
Joel, I have a 1-bedroom, you know?
Oh, yeah, I know.
Oh, God, I walked into that. Jesus Christ, I don't know how to do this.
I thought this was the bedroom. I thought we were in it.
Oh.
Do you use a lot of that balance board there?
Yeah, I sprain my ankle twice a year.
Oh, it's an occasion? It's a holiday?
Well, yeah, I guess.
It's something you look forward to? Like getting your teeth cleaned?
I don't look forward to it.
Still playing basketball. You don't get your ankles taped?
No. I don't. Again, I have a 1-bedroom. I don't.
Yeah,
have a
I know.
guy,
It's
I don't have a
too. There's
guy
not
to do
enough
it.
room here for tape.
No, I can't tape my own ankle. Have you ever taped your own ankles? It's a art
It is
form.
a thing. But you don't wear a brace?
I wear a brace.
But do you still roll them with the brace?
No, but I don't keep the brace on because I find that a brace, you start to rely on it, and then it doesn't strengthen itself. So what I do is after I sprain it, I don't play for 2 months. I rehab it for a month, and then I play in a brace for a month or two. Then I take it off. I heard
2
it.
months later.
And then I just do the cycle again, yeah. We're actually sponsored by the balance board, Yes for All.
Why
So
don't I get one?
I'll get you one, but I just want to do
I'd
a
like
quick...
their entire array of products.
I see what they could do. They only send me boards. But
Because they're like, that guy keeps hurting himself. Mm-hmm. That's pretty good.
So we're just going to cut to commercial real quick.
And we'll be right back with more Joel McHale. And we're back.
Joel, while...
You know it's not good for your ligaments to keep on injuring it that way.
Yeah. What do you want me to do? Stop playing ball?
Yes.
I can't.
How old are you?
35.
35?
Yeah. Today.
Happy birthday, Rick Glassman.
It's not my birthday today. I'm saying I'm 35 today.
Oh, I see what you did there. Well done. That was nice. So 35. Yeah, you're about time to stop playing team basketball.
Yeah. Have you heard the expression ball is life?
Have you heard the expression hip replacement and
Listen,
broken knees?
At least answer the question before you burn me again.
Ball is life?
Have you heard the expression?
No.
Okay. So then it's fair to assume that you haven't lived it.
No. Have you ever heard of the expression idiots play basketball in their 40s?
IPBIYFs?
We've never shortened it.
I have.
No, you almost did. So, yeah, it gets a little. I mean, I guess if you're in very good physical shape, which you're not, you can continue to keep going. But it gets to that breaking point where, you know, someone who's in their early 20s, even mid 20s, can recover from injuries pretty well.
Yeah.
But then you start writing checks you can't cash.
Yeah.
The number of dudes that I know that are my age, but I'm old, much older than you, but that have broken their, like completely destroyed their knees is like motorcycle accident level knee injuries. Playing basketball is, but you know, good luck.
I've had a lot of surgeries.
Let me guess.
Okay.
Appendicitis.
No. That's a pretty Jewish one, though. That's a good guess. They're athletic surgeries.
I hope you're Jewish.
Thank you. Could you not tell?
I can't tell anything.
You can't tell I'm Jewish?
Am I supposed to just assume?
I don't know. I feel like people look at me and I just feel like I look so Jewish.
No, I thought you were Portuguese.
That's awesome. Joel.
Awesome. Oh wait, now you don't want to be.
I don't want.
Jewish?
I don't want to be known as Jewish. I don't want to. I'm like. I feel like I'm a Jewish guy, and that's okay. But I don't want to be classed.
I feel like you are classing yourself as a Jewish guy, and yet you don't want to be classed as a Jewish guy.
I'm leaning into.
It's like people who move to LA and go, "Oh, I hate LA." And it's like, yeah, but you've lived here for 20 years, so what are we talking about?
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I love people from New York who constantly complain about living here.
Bring this down a little bit. What are you hiding your face?
You bring it down. I'm hiding my face from these SLR cameras that you got in junior high.
What would you use if you were doing a podcast? What kind of cameras would you use?
Oh, I'd have a crew, maybe Panavision. That'd be great.
You'd have a crew?
I'd have a whole crew. I'd have a stage. Probably the same ones Cameron uses.
Oh, I mean, I guess you kind of did that with the soup. You had a.
We did.
Yeah, you had.
Well, I didn't. I didn't. That they were there. I was just happy that they were there. It would be very difficult to do it on my own.
Yeah. And here I am doing it on my own.
Yeah.
And
that's very good.
Yeah, right?
If it's going well, obviously you have sponsors.
I don't have sponsors, but
but they send you stuff when you mention it.
I didn't mean to lie to you. I meant to play with you. No, I bought that. Yeah, I bought it.
Yeah.
And
so boy, it really shows the show is really penetrating deep into America.
You know, it's a steady build. My TSO goblins are, are, you know.
I don't know what the TSO goblin is.
Take your shoes off goblins. Everyone has kind of fan army names. And
do you get recognized on the street? Like, oh, hey.
Yeah, but they think I'm Ari Shafir.
Oh.
I don't know if you know who that is.
He is a very popular comedian.
I guess.
All
Yeah.
right. Well, if they think you're a popular comedian, that makes that comedian pretty dang popular.
Joel, do you ever
Sounds like you're not happy with his success.
Here, can I pull back for a second and tell you exactly where I am?
Let's just move on.
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
Which one?
I don't know.
It's hard to find a balance sometimes between bits and connection, and you're so good at bits that I want to play in there, but also you came here when I was in a very frantic place already. I'm trying to set up this Bluetooth thing that didn't work. I didn't get to my shower on time. I was cleaning up orchids, and I felt dirty, and I got stuff on the floor. I'm already talking too much.
Man, you've had a rough morning.
I've had a hard morning, man.
Your Bluetooth and orchid situation sounds terrifying. How do you clean up an orchid?
I have
Where you dust an orchid?
So they say that orchids have life cycles, and up until about an hour ago, I had about 18 of those on my patio.
Okay.
And I've been watering them, and I've been caring for them, and I've been switching them out to have dead ones with live ones so they had company. And then
you will never be in a relationship.
Oof. Fuck, man.
It is. That's
why. What is what I just said to you?
I have 18 orchids. They have a life cycle, and I had to. Just moments ago, they were in here, and I moved them out, but they have to have company, right?
So is that a behavior that's too intense for a relationship, or is it a behavior that is loving and caring that could perhaps a relationship could thrive in? And that's an honest question.
Loving and caring to the orchids.
Well, I don't have anything else to love.
Right, but if say you get into a relationship with someone, and then they're like, "Hey, we should have the Andersons over today," or who was that comedian you just named?
The Shafirs?
We have the Shafirs over, and we should eat on the deck. And you'd be like, "Oh, no, Donner and Blitzen and Muffy and all my friends out there, they can't be moved."
I've named them Christmas reindeer.
Well, Muffy isn't, but it's the name of it. I just thought, like we can't move them, so we can't have them over. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I would not do that. I would make sure that
You'd move all the orchids.
I think that if I had
You would
somebody,
just throw your friends to the curb, your orchid friends.
I did for you. You were coming over. I threw them away. Imagine if we were.
You didn't
fucking.
throw them away.
Threw them away.
You put them out here.
No. They were out there, and I went out. I
Well,
go
then why are the curtains closed?
because for the light.
Okay.
I have blackouts behind there too. I've done a nice little
So-
studio job here.
You threw them off the balcony.
I was repotting, and then I said I can't. I need a wife. So
to do the repotting.
I need a
Wow.
I need a wouldn't mind one to help.
Ladies and gentlemen. So you expect that this imaginary mate of yours is going to just do your work?
No, truth be told, man.
Again, you've
if
said
I'm-
this. Like, can we just take a step back?
Yeah.
Truth be told, you're doing a lot of that.
Did I do a lot of truth be tolds?
You're doing a lot of like, can we just, can I just be honest? Like that's happening a lot.
I already tried to communicate that to you. It's a fine line dancing between bits and sincerity. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to hint to you that, like, I hear what you're saying. Let me tell you the truth
Look,
about
we're
it.
doing a bit about how funny it is you have all these orchids, but I am trying to get to the truth to let you know that
I want to,
there's no way you're going to get a wife that's just going to be taking care of your orchids.
I don't need anyone to take care of my orchids.
I'm just saying, do they take up a lot of space?
No. They, in fact, brighten the space that I already have.
Except for the 18 you murdered?
I didn't murder them. I just didn't know. Come on, orchids. You put ice cubes in them. Some say direct sunlight, indirect sunlight. They need water. They don't.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But it sounds like you've learned a lot and that your favorite flower is definitely an azalea.
I want to get into the hard hitting questions.
Yes, me too.
All right.
How many surgeries have you had?
3.
Okay.
What about you?
When was the last one?
December, my shoulder.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, it was like a week after that basketball thing we filmed.
Fully recovered?
I hope not.
Hope not.
Yeah.
Because you haven't played since.
I've been playing. In fact, I'm playing tonight.
Have you been lifting weights to strengthen it?
I went
Or
yesterday for the first time.
How'd that feel?
Not first time. I didn't push it.
Don't.
But I felt like even just in my stretches and my very, very lightweight stuff, it just felt not good. But
Meaning it's a different feel, or like it's not ready.
it feels like it did when it was its best pre-surgery.
Oh boy.
So I'm okay with worst case scenario being the same, but I'm scared that it's going to be worse.
Was it arthroscopic?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
You had a lot of surgeries.
Yeah. Wow, look at this face.
Didn't you do stuff? Was it your knee?
No, I've never blown a knee out. I had a surgery when I was a newborn in Roma because like my belly button was collapsing. And,
Is that a hernia?
I don't know. Probably, but that like
We'll put up a picture.
they get really worried because somehow that weakens where your intestines is well kept, and so they have to. I don't know what they did, but my parents absolutely handed a newborn baby to some Italian surgeons and said, "Go for it."
I think I don't remember the story. I think it was you who told me that you injured yourself, not like multiple. Oh, didn't you have like multiple concussions and never once from football?
That is true.
You played at Washington.
Thank you.
You played Division I football,
Sure.
and you've gotten how many concussions?
7 and a skull fracture.
And none of them were from football.
None of them were from football. So I guess this is a weird reverse PSA. None of them were. Most of them were from me going, watch this, and then jumping off a roof or something. Or
What do you mean, like trying to flip into a pool?
yeah, whatever, sort of like jumping down flights of stairs and catching my forehead on the wall and flipping over. And yeah, I did a lot of that. The skull fracture skiing was obviously the most serious, and that was pre-helmet days out on the slopes when people thought skiing can't be dangerous. And I have no recollection of that day. I just have these little flashes, and my friend Dave Johnson saved my life because he didn't allow me to kind of ski off into the woods in some sort of delirium.
You fell on a rock?
No, I have no recollection. I collided with another skier. We were going down some run. I believe I know the run. I can picture it, but it could be totally wrong. We collided, and my friend Dave Johnson told me this. He said, you stood up. The guy stood up. You asked if he was okay. He said yes. Then he asked you the same question, and you said yes. And then you skied over to me like nothing had happened. And then you started talking really weird, like not making any sense at all, and gibberish. There you go.
And do we know that this other guy's okay?
No clue. I mean, the other guy, we all know who. Actually, the other guy, we do know who he was. It was River Phoenix.
No shit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Did you know him beforehand or just coincidentally?
Just total coincidence.
Wow. I never know when to use this, but I feel like this is the right time.
Do it.
Small world.
Small world. Yeah. So, I don't know what happened to that guy, but he seemed fine.
What was the first concussion?
The first concussion was in preschool when there was a ladder system over concrete that one ladder went up, one ladder went across, one ladder went down. And the
like monkey bars.
Yeah, the whole class was crawling across the top. Joel, this kid in my class named Joel, nudged me, and I went through head first and hit the cement. And in those days, you did not necessarily call the doctor, which they did not. And they just said, go sit on the bean bags, and we'll call your mom. They called my mom, and I remember thinking, like, why am I so sleepy?
You remember this from preschool?
Yeah, I was like, I should not be this sleepy. And what I realized is I was going in and out of consciousness. And then my mom shows up. I'm like, well, hi, Mom. What are we doing? She's like, we're going home. Didn't go to the doctor. And I was vomiting for like 5 hours after that.
Do you remember stuff from when you were that young?
Yeah, I remember. I mean, strangely, with all these head injuries, I can't remember people that I've met in the last 3 years, but I have a lot of vivid memory. Like I have, even though I left Italy very young, I remember.
How old?
3. But I remember, there's my favorite place is Ostia Antica, which is a ancient ruined port city. That was the port city of Rome. And I remember, like, when I went back during my honeymoon, I was like, yep, this is where we parked. This is where it all happened. And I remember my grandfather, we clearly were acting out in the back of our, my brothers and I, my 2 brothers, in the back of our VW Bug. And my grandfather said, who wants a horse bite? And
what does that mean?
Well, I was like, that sounds like a candy. And then he just reached back and clamped down on our legs. And then really hard because he was not happy with us. And I was like, oh, that's a horse bite. This will be a bad memory.
My dad used to give me Missouri pig bites, which he grabbed me under the quad.
Huh.
So maybe that's a thing. Maybe in Italy, it's a horse and it's on top.
Horses on, for the, at least, yeah. But were you in Missouri?
No. My dad's wacky.
You're in New York.
Cleveland.
But the people in Missouri are just handing out these things.
Enough to where my dad at least heard it. Maybe he went to camp with a Missourian?
Missourian?
Maybe with a Missourian, yeah. I have no idea where Missouri even is. I'm bad at
it's in America.
Yeah, well, I guess I do have an idea.
You're bad at things, like dressing yourself. That's one.
Come on, man.
I mean, we can make a list.
Okay.
Clearly, you can't keep a fucking orchid alive.
I keep them for about 3 months. That's better than my peers.
Does anyone listening to this believe him?
Look at the...
Exactly. You hear the crickets?
You
probably kill them, too.
If you look at all the podcasts out before this, which I've been going for over 3 months now, you'll see this is the first time I have a new orchid. For the 3 months,
right. It took
I've had
you
the same
3
orchid.
months to get one new one in, to get one alive here.
Whatever, dude.
And then you're just going to be like, well, I'm going to add more Dr. Pepper and see if it gets even more vivid colors.
That's not what happened.
Okay.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
I'd want to ask you, and if there's any topics that we talk about that, I guess this isn't asking, this is telling you, if there's anything that we talk about that you don't want to talk about, you don't have to dance around, and I'll just edit even the question. But
Why did you move the mic across from you to tell me this?
Because I feel like that would be like a cue to you to show you that there's a difference. Like I'm behind the curtain now. That was more for
But we
you.
still can just hear you perfectly, pretty much. Other than it's
Yeah, it
not
was just a
as
cue.
Resonant. A cue for me.
Yeah. I find that a lot of times people don't know when I'm joking or being serious. I can imagine that you live in that world, and same way people use like safe words or something. I find that you need to show like a gesture, like
No, if I don't want to talk about something, I'm going to go. I don't want to talk about that, Rick.
okay.
And go get your shoes on, something like that.
Well, the reason I bring that up is because I sent you an email. You helped me out with this project that I did, and I'm weird about. I don't want to talk about it. I think not that it really matters.
Your project? Are you letting me know that you don't want to talk about something now?
Yeah. I think I don't want to give too many details about the project.
It's secret.
Yeah, I don't know. No, but like, what if later I'm like, I shouldn't have talked about it because
Like
it's
plot
not ready
points?
yet. No, just I don't know. Who gives a shit? I'll talk about
Just
it.
saying you're developing a show.
Yeah, and it's about my autism diagnosis.
Right. Which was a really, really good idea.
Thank you.
All right, everything's okay. I'm just making sure I'm not in trouble. Yeah, it was a really good idea. Okay.
You want to take something? We could stop for a second.
No, my dog has outgrown his harness.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So now we're getting him a new one. It's exciting.
You getting your kids a new dog because he outgrew a harness?
No, we're getting the kids harnesses, and the dog will tow the kids to Seattle.
Okay.
All right, so
I emailed you because
Right. It's a great idea.
As the story is, I think I talked about this on a podcast once, but my old boss and a friend of yours, Bill Lawrence, I'm in his basketball game, the one I'm playing in tonight.
Oh,
And
Bill's one of those guys that blew his knee out, right?
no, I don't think so. No,
Ask him.
he has shoulder issues, but maybe I'll ask him. I don't know.
All right.
It looks like
Jeff, his partner, I know, has blown him out.
Jeff
I think.
Ingold.
Ingold.
Yeah. I'll bleep it in case he listens.
Great.
He listens to all my podcasts.
Ingold does?
I mean, I know he's a huge fan of mine, so maybe.
I've heard that. I saw him wearing a T-shirt, the same one, or that
Six lead shirt, maybe.
Yeah, the button down.
Oh, yeah, I'm wearing this polo because I had an audition yesterday where I needed to be an employee. And, sometimes, I don't know if you have to do this, but I still feel like you should dress kind of what the thing is. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what an employee wears, but I have this polo shirt that says The Rick on it that my mom made me years ago in my closet. I've worn, I don't know if ever. And I put it on yesterday, and when I got home, I liked the way I looked in the mirror. I thought I looked not just in this polo, but like my hair looked good. I just felt handsome. And then I took the polo off, and I didn't think I looked as good. So I thought maybe I could get into polos. So I put it on.
Okay.
Yeah.
The only problem with the polo is, the Rick, it seems like you're doing a bit.
Yeah, it wouldn't be this polo.
Yeah.
This is just me, like, kind of, I'm at home, I'm comfortable. Also, it's a good talking point. Look at what we've done.
Oh, it is. I mean, not as offensive as those shorts, but
So, incidentally, part of the stuff I've been learning about, because I was diagnosed with autism about 3 years ago now, I've always had a very hard time wearing pants. They don't hurt, but like the idea of them kind of hurts. Does that make sense at all, the way I'm explaining that?
well, yes, it makes sense. Obviously, I don't experience the same thing, but it makes sense.
Like, I'm just super sensitive to certain things. And
So when we were all in Sundance, you had to wear pants since it was one out.
yeah.
Was that hard, or were you happy to have the pants on when you went? Oh, it's freezing.
Yeah,
This-
so I wear sweatpants. I'm okay with sweatpants.
Okay.
I wore sweatpants the entire time except for the premiere of our movie. And then it's like sometimes you have to wear, sometimes you got to wear pants. I feel like if everybody had what I had, that would be a great bumper sticker, but I don't think enough people could empathize with it. But they're just, I don't feel safe in them. I don't feel comfortable. In fact, I went to go see, what did I see? I saw, what's the Phantom of the Opera, like a few weeks ago with my buddy John. And
Oh yeah, that's what guys do.
and I love theater. I had never seen Phantom of the Opera. I didn't have much of an interest in seeing it. It didn't.
But it was amazing, right?
I thought it. I mean, I couldn't. It was. I thought it was actually. It was bad.
Oh wow.
I don't like to talk about other people's work, but he's done a lot of great stuff.
Was it at the Pantages?
At the Pantages,
So it was not a small production.
it was a big production.
It was a full-on thing.
And I'll say that it was. I don't know where Missouri is. I'm in the wrong here. I couldn't get into it. However, I was John's guest. He had extra tickets. Now I know
Did he work on it?
No.
All right.
Somehow he said, "Hey, I got he just had a baby recently, and his wife couldn't go, So
he's like,
we have an extra ticket.
Yeah, you go and do good seats.
No, that's another thing. I don't go to things
Way
if
in the
they're not good
balcony
seats.
or
Yeah,
off to the side.
balcony.
All right, so you're way up there.
Yeah.
in this huge, like 6,000 person theater.
Probably about that. And also I don't know what's going on. And the story, it makes no sense to me. And this guy is raping this woman, and then she's feeling bad. The whole thing is trash. I'm missing something.
You're saying the story is bad, but you were happy with the music, or the music was bad?
Music was good.
Oh, you liked it, and you recognize some of the songs?
Yeah, I recognize almost all the songs.
Okay.
Like, you could go see a movie if it has a good score, but the movie sucks. It's like, what are we doing?
Right. You didn't get into the story.
No.
It's an age-old story.
But the reason I bring it up is I'm his guest, and it's theater. Those are two reasons that you're supposed to dress well.
Yeah.
If I'm going by myself, which I do sometimes, I don't mind. I have some sweatpants that are like nice sweatpants. Like Drake would wear these going out. Like cool hip-hop athletic
I don't
sweatpants
think Drake would
with
be
the button
wearing
down.
those, but
Well,
go ahead.
agree to disagree. So I'm in my closet. I texted him first.
Drake?
No, my buddy John.
All right.
In the olden days, I could wear pants. It doesn't bother I wear what I want. It doesn't bother anybody. Something I've been working on is learning how I'm being received and making sure I don't make other people uncomfortable just to make myself comfortable. So I sent him a text. I said, hey man, I know we're going to the theater, but would you mind if I wore sweatpants and a button down? Thinking he would say,
No
wanting
problem.
him to say, yeah. He's like, no man, you can't do that to the theater. I said, okay. So I have a little resentment in me that I'm trying to figure out until I realize that sometimes you got to wear pants. I went into my closet and I started to cry. I literally not noises, but watery eyes and like the feeling of it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking through my pants and I'm seeing I have these 3 pairs of sweatpants that are form-fitting. They're fine. They look like black pants. Let me wear these. And I'm crying. I start to cry because not only that I have to wear pants, and I realized I'm in my closet for 5 minutes, like freaking out about this stupid thing.
Well, I think. Get ready to continue your story. But you're okay with my socks on your? There's more going on there because, so you said that question to your friend. He didn't know about this pants thing, did he?
Let me answer that with 30 seconds, or if you want to keep going with your question.
I'm just saying that if you said, "Look, if I have to wear pants, there's a good chance I'm going to spend 5 minutes in my closet crying about it."
I can't put that on him. That was the first time that I ever cried about pants.
Okay.
I wasn't anticipating that.
Okay.
So when I got this diagnosis, I told some people that were close to me, but I didn't talk about it with a lot of people. And what I found is that my friends, a few of them are like, "Yeah, of course," but it's always a joke, because like I'm high functioning is the term, I think, but I don't know if that's even proper to say anymore because it stigmatizes what low functioning might be, and I don't know the rules. But I don't think.
Yeah, you could say like closer to typical.
Yeah, more typical.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you. So I don't feel like my friends truly sympathize with some of the struggles that I've explained to them.
Right.
Because I make jokes about it.
Yeah. Okay.
And just because, I don't want to use the word because I'm on cameras, but like some derogatory shit. Just, I get called retarded a lot. Like in joke form.
Still?
Yeah. In joke form. It doesn't
use that word?
Yeah.
Wow.
In a playful way that I'm not judging that I'm not saying that's okay, but the intention I know is it doesn't hurt me. I'm fine with it. But what it does is it defines the fact that, this is a joke to you. Mm-hmm. They're using it as a joke. And it's like, and yeah, there's kind of some funny stuff about it. Hey, if you don't take your shoes off, I'm going to lose. Like, you even came in, and when I asked you to take your shoes off, you kind of puffed your chest and were going to fight me about it.
My chest was already puffed.
You have an amazing body.
Thank you.
So, anyway, blah, 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 blah. Autism, making this thing. I brought it up to you, and then you emailed me back like a month later.
Which I apologize for.
Oh, please. Thanks for getting back to me. And
did the scene make it in?
yeah, I still have one more scene to film.
Oh, and I'm in it, right?
I'm not. No. I could, but that would be 2 more scenes. The project is basically you played the part of Bill kicking me out of this basketball game where I live ball his life.
Right.
And I think that's where my value comes from, and everyone wants me because I'm so good. And I find out for that very reason of me selling that thing, people don't want me around.
Right.
You suggest you should see somebody. Next scene is me with a therapist being diagnosed.
Who plays the therapist?
I think Blake Griffin's going to play it. He said he would.
Great.
I think that would be real fun.
That would be a good one.
Yeah, I also, because he's so aggressive by design, to have somebody tell me that things don't need to be that aggressive, I just think there's a lot of easy bits to
once
write.
you see Blake Griffin playing a therapist, that visual alone would be great.
and I want to have him like pictures.
He's not talented athletically.
Do you know him?
I've met him a few times.
He's crazy funny.
He's very funny.
Yeah, but he's not.
He
that
has the
athletically.
body of like the real Thor. Like an actual Thor. If Thor were real, that would be Thor's body.
I had Blake on this podcast.
How'd it go?
Unbelievable, but I'm watching. I haven't put it out yet. I haven't even edited it yet. But I remember being there and I'm watching it through my eyes, where like almost quite literally, I look at some of these NBA players as the Avengers. Like he is a superhero. These are like the real life superheroes.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at Thor. If other people don't connect to basketball the way that I do, I'm curious because it was a lower energy pod. We've done a few together, and I never put any of them out. This is the first one that I think I'm putting out and that I recorded with video. And it was very low energy. And
by whom? You? You seem like you could. I don't think I've ever seen you without energy.
so Blake and
You
I,
mean Blake just came in mellow?
Blake and I did a podcast like almost 3 years ago. We were going to do a podcast together, the Rick and Blake Show,
Okay.
or the Blake and Rick Show. Which one is it? And that's part of the comedy that writes itself.
Blake.
Sure, probably. So we did one. He came over here. We did one at my place. I did one at his place, and
Same setup.
no cameras.
1 bedroom apartment.
No, he has a bigger. He has a
Slightly bigger-
He has a bigger place.
Bigger spot. Oh, okay.
Yeah, his doorway is around the size of my living room.
Okay.
Let me do a real long story short. I went to his house. We did a couple of podcasts. I got real aggressive with him, and in the way that you and I are, you more so even. You're just like, your chest is already puffed, but like you play this combative, aggressive guy. I love that. I love
Right.
playing it. I get very competitive with it.
He's not into that.
Well, even though
He's into it.
he's into, I went pretty hard.
Oh,
I went pretty hard at him.
what did you say?
I called him a bitch a lot.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, he kind of like took a jab at me, and then I went back at him. In my head, he's Thor. I can't pick up the hammer. So that's just like I'm punching up. And something I didn't consider was, even though for whatever reason I feel safe and comfortable with this guy and I'm having a good time, we don't know each other. We've hung out 4 times, and I'm in his home.
And then you start calling him a bitch.
And I leaned in. And then it took me a few minutes before I recognized the energy change. And this was at the beginning of my self-awareness, this thing coming in that I'm starting to become more aware of. And when I noticed the energy changed, I questioned it. And then we finally unraveled what it was.
On the air.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds like a very good podcast.
Yeah, same. But I don't think we're posting it because I put it on his computer and I don't know where it is. So we like had a falling out. And he had my equipment.
Because of that?
I didn't know that, but yeah. And we talked about this on the podcast that we just did. We just recorded it again years later. And we talked about it on there. And it was just, there were less bits and more.
Working it out.
I don't know. I'm excited to post it. It's like, he's in the other podcast we did, and I might want to put in some of the other clips of him, but this is just very low energy and very interesting. I'm talking about just his come up and he won a state championship all 4 years in high school and all these very cool things, but it's very basketball heavy, and I'm curious how it's going to go. I loved it. But the reason I brought him up is because he answered the door with his shirt off and he looked unbelievable.
He at his own home.
At his
Clearly.
home, the most alpha thing you could do is say, all the podcasts I record are in my place. You came to the Valley. Thank you so much.
I live in the Valley, so it's not that far.
Well, thank you.
I shop at that Gelson's.
Great. Same. Maybe I'll see you there sometime.
No, I'm just saying that. I hope not. But I'm just saying we live relatively close. My
Yeah.
place is way bigger too, by the way.
How expensive was your home?
A lot.
Was it more than $4 million?
Not initially.
More than $4 million now in the Valley. South of Ventura?
No, it is on the other side. It's not on the hill. Yeah. It's an anomaly, as I like to call it. We live in the LA River.
Okay.
There's a couple of riverfront homes,
Okay.
and it's great. It's like, do you ever see Falling Water?
I don't know anything, man. I don't know anyone's
Architecture?
references. No. Oh.
Frank
yes.
Lloyd Wright?
Yeah, I have. It's like that?
Yeah, over the river.
Oh, we'll pull up a picture. So
Falling water picture.
I wanted to, because again, I don't remember where this edit is. I'm sure it'll be fine. But when you brought up your dyslexia, and
Did I tell you I was ADHD as well?
if you did, I didn't recall. I didn't retain it.
Okay.
Or those. I feel like those two things probably come together often.
I think they do.
So what does that mean for you? You didn't know it. You didn't know it until you were an adult. Also.
Yeah, both my sons have dyslexia, but once one of them was diagnosed, the older one, because he got tested first, the doctor began describing all the symptoms. I'm like, oh, that's me.
What symptoms?
Just like I'm a very slow reader. Words don't look like words, and then they're like, yeah, they're describing everything how I read. And she goes, yeah, and the doctor was like, I was wondering which one of you it was.
Oh, because it's hereditary, right?
It is hereditary. It's passed down. If it gets passed down, one of the parents has to have it. And then I was like, hey, Dad, you have dyslexia. And he was like, no, I don't. I read all the time. I was like, you read just as slow and can't spell like me. And he was like, well, that's true.
Has he accepted it then?
I think so. I mean, I think I kind of bullied him into it.
Older generations will not change stuff. Is that even a cliche? I feel like I've heard other people talk about that.
Yeah, there's a lot of banners that say older generations will not change stuff. There's flying over Capitol Hill. No, I think you're right. I think also people, and my dad, I think he's like, yeah, that's me. But I think people don't want to accept that maybe sometimes something's wrong.
But
it makes them feel weaker or like less, like not young anymore or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
You don't want to have things going on, but once you identify them and deal with them, then it gives you strength.
It's not, there's a difference between something happening to you and then you getting something versus something becoming defined that you've had your entire life that you can now better understand.
Yeah, no, as soon as I was like, oh, great. It's ironic because I made the way I became solvent in Hollywood was by reading a teleprompter.
Yeah, the soup was your breakout thing.
Which took years to break out, but because nobody watched it for 2 years. But I was reading jokes, 20 minutes of jokes that would take me 4 hours.
So did you prepare them beforehand?
No. Yes, of course. Did I prepare the jokes?
No. I mean, like in high school when we were reading out loud, because I also don't love reading. I would find my paragraph beforehand. I would count the kids and find my paragraph and read it so I could find if there were any words that would be difficult.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No.
So
we would do a lot of preparation to make sure the script was exactly how I wanted it, because there was even the arrangement of words. If I was like, for whatever reason, the way those words are going together is not going to work, or I go, I think it's going to work. We'll see. And then we made it a whole bit. And like when the show was live for 2 years. So I would promo it. I would do promotion for it by going, it's me, Joel McHale. We're on in an hour. I'm dyslexic and the show is live. So I don't know what's going to happen. And I would screw up all the time, but I would use that to hopefully further the comedy. Sometimes not.
That was a while ago. So you found out you were dyslexic how long ago now? 10 years?
No, it was 7 years ago. I mean, I knew something was going on, and I was like, yeah, probably. But I never actually had a doctor
that's how I felt.
And I was like, oh, well, that's interesting. That's me.
What things did you learn that were you that you then had to develop new tools for?
Well, I had worked so hard on the teleprompter, and and it was a very good training, a very good way to learn to read better. I'm not a great reader still, but it was a great way to learn, especially when you had a live audience looking at you. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, the adrenaline. So I think actually adrenaline really helped,
because
the pressure really helped. So that sounds strange, but over and over and over again, I still don't read books. I only listen to them.
Same.
But then when a book's not on Audible, I'm like, oh, fuck. So I just got this book. It's not on Audible, but so I'm like, okay, well, it's going to be a journey.
Is it reading slow or is it also the retention?
Retention's no problem. I would say I retain a lot. I'm very good at retention because I read slowly and I go over it more than once. So I remember a lot. It's just that it takes a long time. Great. Do you retain a lot when you read?
Yeah, I have to read. I mean, so many times.
Yeah, when I have to read a script and they're like, read this script. They want an answer by tomorrow. I know you've never had that before. What a dick. I'm sorry, dick. But I go like, that's probably not going to happen. They're like, why? And they're like, A, I read very slowly, and B, I am as distractible as a moth at night in front of a lamp.
Yeah, even when I watch movies, I don't like watching stuff like sport events. I don't mind watching with people, but every like 10 minutes I press pause and I walk. I walk back and forth for a little bit and come back. So same with the script.
So you like someone says, "Come over, watch the game on Sunday with a bunch of my friends."
No, I don't.
You're not gonna do that.
I'm gonna have to put on pants.
I can't listen to music in the background. That's my thing. Like we put in this sound system into our house. Thank you. And I can at any moment just call it up on my phone and play anything, and it drives me wild. I can't sit there and because I am a big listener of music. I love it, but I can't really have conversations when there's music in the background. Yeah, especially music that I like. If it's some sort of kind of innocuous music, it's fine. But when it's like music I've selected, I'm just gonna sit here and listen to this for one moment, and then I'll get back to you.
Do you think does that have anything to do with dyslexia?
I don't know. No clue about that one. Maybe the hospital that sponsors this podcast can let us know.
When I was diagnosed, I felt like it was the most relieved because it put patterns together that were unrelated that now
Great.
had. So I understand.
How'd your parents react? Were they like, well, we think you're great, Rick?
I mean, yeah, but it wasn't.
Were they heartbroken? Like, well,
my mom didn't accept it at first.
You're just fine. You are fine.
Yeah. I'm perfect. My mom had a hysterectomy and legitimately sent me a text the day of and said I should have asked to have my uterus bronzed. You're an Adonis.
Wow. That is quite a text from my mom.
So yeah, I'm perfect. Of course I don't have this thing. Meanwhile, I'm going to different schools and different medications and kicked out of everything. And it's
look at all the evidence of,
like this makes sense. This is a great thing.
Yeah. I think also like my mom was not, she was like, well, I think you did fine. And because my mom was a newspaper editor. So she's a very fast reader and a very, very good editor. And so she was like, of course, she was given 2 of the 3 sons of her 3 sons are dyslexic. So, yeah. So she's now, she's very happy because, I host Card Sharks on ABC. And, no, but she sing, ding. There you go, an ad. But anyway, yes, it's all fine now.
I'm going to put in a trailer and come back. So is there any comeback from the trailer that you could just...
And then I will tell you the most interesting story you've ever heard.
No. It's going to be Card Sharks. We're going to trailer already, so I need you to pick up something on the comeback if you could.
Ready? Yes, I did it again. Oh, man. Rick, I know you found that as enjoyable as I did.
Yeah.
And you know who else finds it enjoyable? America.
Do you hear that?
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's called traffic. You are right on a very busy street. I hear that.
When you have to read a script,
yeah,
you get also you burn me pretty good, but you get a lot of times we need an answer tomorrow. Do you get that a lot?
Yes, and then I learned that the answer really doesn't need to be I'll be like, do we really need it tomorrow, or can it be 2 days from now?
Because this is an offer for you.
Yes,
and that. I imagine they weed out certain things, or every offer for you, do they ask you to read?
What do you mean? Like they're like, we've made you an offer and we're not showing you the script.
No, I'm saying like there might be like there might be something that like you're obviously not going to do.
Yes, that happens a lot.
And do they send it to you and ask you to read it, or
they will say this was offered to you. If you would like, you can read it.
Gotcha.
If not, then they would say we believe it's a pass.
How often are you given something to read that is not a pass that you have to decide to do?
Boy. Because I was like, I'm doing this. Like, are you saying because the material is so good, I'm going to make time for this?
I'm saying how many offers do you get of doing stuff. I mean, you're always doing stuff. I have to imagine you're tied down and can't do most things, right?
Well, but if an offer is really good, then you make room for it. There are certain things that can't move. Like I got a camping trip with my kids' school. There's very few things that are going to be moved for me to not. If I have to miss that, I don't know what would have to happen for me to miss that.
Right. This is a boundary that you've already set, basically.
Yeah. So no, I don't know. I get it.
Cool.
I'm not.
That's so cool.
I'm not Liam Hemsworth. No, I get offers, I don't know, a couple weekly, but there's a lot of stuff out there, but that a lot of it is not great.
How many times have you offered to do a podcast?
Almost every hour.
You get asked to do a lot of podcasts?
There's a lot of podcasts out there.
I intentionally didn't listen to you on any because I don't like hearing other people's interviews before I get them.
It's good you did that because the others were a lot better.
I imagine, but I'm new. You know, I'm getting better at it.
No, at no point am I denying any of that.
So, but I'm excited to listen to your Dax one. I was waiting to do that.
No.
That was a while ago, though, right?
Yeah, that was 1978.
Jesus Christ. Was he doing it that long ago?
Yeah, he's amazing. He was 5? No, this is one of the best ones I've ever done, Rick.
Don't worry about it, man.
No, I know that I throw a lot of insults at you that you definitely deserve, but not on this one.
I don't deserve them on this one, or you haven't been throwing them?
Oh, no, I think this is going well.
You know,
you're thoughtful. You've done your 25 seconds of research. We know each other. We've talked about deep things. We've talked about injuries. And you're a good host because I like asking questions too, and some hosts don't like that.
I don't know how to navigate hosting a podcast. You as the guest get to do whatever you want. It's about you. So you could throw it back to me. But when you throw it to me, I've gotten during this a bit self-conscious of not just what I was talking about, but
what you're wearing.
But that I'm talking about it too much. I really like my outfit.
I'll let you know if you're talking too much. And I have a couple of times.
Well, I mean, you opened up with I was interrupting you too much.
Mm-hmm. I feel like that was a good jumping off point.
So the thing that you made with me that I'm really happy with, I kind of want to put a clip up.
Do it.
Because I don't know if I'm ever going to. I don't know.
Let's show the clip. The clip is happening in 3, 2.
So then we don't need to play it now. But if we were to play it now, then there would be us talking over it or laughing over it. No, but could we get a couple moments of you being like, "Oh, that's really good direction," and that looks.
No, I'm not going to do that because it's probably pretty bad direction.
All right, give us the back the way you did from the card sharks.
Oh no, this is going to be in, and I want this part.
I'll make listen. One thing I know how to do is keep in the gold.
And we're back.
You're a lot.
Trick ball. Whoops, Kobe.
You are
baby.
One of the best basketball players out there.
I'm the best basketball player.
But you come out here like you're entering Vietnam. You are definitely
It's a
going.
contact sport. Then what are we playing
This
for? What
is
am I
a-
supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to play?
It's a contact sport in the NBA and in college. This is a recreational game. When you're on the text chain taunting people like, I'm gonna butt fuck you tonight, when you say shit like that.
I'm joking. I'm not gonna I've never butt fucked ever. Have you?
Yeah, it's great. I've done it a lot. You should try it. It's great, but it's besides the point.
Again, how do I do it?
Yeah, it was that was good stuff that you improvised.
Thank you.
Yeah, you had a line.
I had actually scripted that out, and I knew it was gonna go in.
You had a line in there about I don't need to say it.
There was a dirty line in there, right?
Yeah, which I took out and I think I want to put back in.
Because I said balls a lot?
No, you said you.
Oh, there was some sort of fellatio joke?
You said that you were telling me of all the complaints that people had that I wasn't aware of, and when one of them that you said was
When you say, I'm not passing to you because your vagina's leaking and you might not be able to hold on to the ball.
Oh, yeah.
that was gratuitous in a way that worked so well because you were saying that I said it and you weren't the one saying it. So you were saying, I hate this thing that you were making up.
Oh, good.
Very layered, very smart.
No, you should put it in because then
I'm going to. It's a good laugh.
Right, because if you sell it to a network that can't have that in, then they just pull it out.
So I was pitching this, about to go pitch this with Bill and John Stern, I met when we did Futile and Stupid Gesture together.
Yes.
And
I'm going to yawn now. It has nothing to do with you.
okay.
I stayed out late last night to go see that Quentin Tarantino movie.
so good.
So much better than your show.
Well, he's been doing it for a while.
You know what? You're right.
You didn't yawn.
It's coming.
Okay.
I'm just all right. So
I was
John
John and Bill and I were about to go pitch the show, and then I ended up booking a show.
Go ahead.
I ended up booking a pilot where I'm playing, coincidentally, a character with autism. Mm-hmm. So I had to put that on. I can't go out with this right now.
You're on Walking Dead this year?
Is that because the zombies are autistic? Is that the joke you're making?
No. And it would be a random character with autism.
Oh.
But you were able to insult. Wow.
I'm allowed.
No, you're playing this one zombie with autism. And the other zombies are like, you always are asking how we. I know that you don't know how to read it, but we just want to eat human flesh, okay?
Yeah, but it needs to be prepared a certain way.
Well, that's great. What pilot? Did it go?
We haven't shot it yet. It's for Amazon. It's Jason Kadam's show called. It's formatted from an Israeli show called On the Spectrum.
Great.
Yeah. So now I have this thing that I've put a lot of time into. The short that we made, I'm happy with, but it's a smaller part of a bigger thing.
You should just look at what you did as part of training and exploring, and it will inform you in that new series if it goes. If the series doesn't go, you can do that. If the series goes, who says you can't do it?
Yeah, I guess I have to ask. I need their permission, but I don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about this. That'll get a real yawn out of that.
Wow, I was interested, but okay.
Really?
No, I don't want. I wouldn't.
I feel self-conscious
No, when
talking about that
sometimes
kind of stuff.
I know we're talking about. Don't feel so. No, way entertainment stuff, and people are like, well, then I can't ever play that role. It's like that's not true.
Well, it would be difficult to be on a show where I play an autistic character and have Amazon or NBC or whoever, Universal, say it's okay to do another show.
Right. Or you write that thing up and then you produce it and cast somebody else as you.
Yeah, I'm thinking about making it a movie.
There you go. Great. I'm just saying that's not the end of the road.
No, not at all. It's just that I have this thing that I think is really funny, and you're so funny in it. And
So
I
I'm
want to show people.
I'm like the funniest thing in it. Just say it, Rick. Just say like you're the funniest thing in it, Joel.
I don't think you are.
Wow.
I think you shine in it.
That hurts.
I'm so good in it.
Rough. You are at playing yourself.
Well, it's a heightened version.
See, I felt like in the scene, I was like, ooh, Rick is really phoning in this version.
In our scene, you were the funniest.
Well, yeah, okay, that
But
makes sense.
there's bigger
All right, I
laughs
guess,
before
yeah.
it.
You think?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people ask me if it was a drama.
Who was talking to you about it?
Spielberg. Yeah, he knows about it. I'm gonna make sure I'm okay.
You ever work with Spielberg?
Yeah. Yep.
On what?
Jurassic Park 3.
Were you really in that? Mm-hmm. What were you in Jurassic Park 3?
A raptor.
I heard that for the new one, which I'm not sure if they're doing because Chris Pratt isn't attached to it, but they were.
He isn't?
He only signed on for 2. That they was going to do an autistic.
Fuck! He's great.
He's fantastic.
He is. I love him.
But they wanted to have an autistic raptor because that's very hot right now. And
Is it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's
Right.
there's Atypical. There's The Good Doctor. There's my show, which is going to be a hit, and I really think I'm going to win an Emmy if it goes. I think it's an Emmy show, and
You know what? These are the sorts of plans you need to make. This is good.
I've already
You're
written
like,
my speech.
Now I got my Emmy, and that's great. And you should practice. Yeah.
No, I don't need to practice.
You ever see Scorsese's King of Comedy
No,
with Mr. Robert De Niro?
I know what it is. I haven't seen it.
Oh, you're gonna like that.
Okay, I'll watch it.
Wait, you just said? Are you sure you know what it was? 'Cause
I do.
It felt like you didn't know what it was.
I do know what it is. I know that they shot.
What's Kundum?
I don't know.
It's another Scorsese film.
Oh, I don't know that, but I know that they shot in a club that I played in Levittown, New York, and that's when I first heard about that movie.
All right.
Yeah, so
It's a good movie. There's something to practicing speeches in that movie. You'll see. And possibly my favorite. No, it is my favorite Jerry Lewis performance ever.
I'll probably watch it this weekend.
I don't believe you.
I don't lie, dude. It's one of my things.
Well, you lied to your stylist.
I don't have a stylist. I don't live the life that you live.
Yeah, I know that.
You live a great life. I live a great
I really
life.
do. You do. No, of course you don't have a stylist. You don't need one. Not with this combination.
So your body is pretty insane for, what are you, 50?
I am 61.
And you're playing a superhero now.
Yes.
Stargirl, right?
Yep. I
What-
play Stargirl.
And it's a good time for that.
I play Starman. That's one of the reasons I was in shape.
You were in shape before that, though.
Yes, but it worked out great because you know you don't want to when they build these suits. And I was like, what do you do if the person is a little overweight? They're like, we just got to keep making it bigger because you have to compensate for the.
Oh, it's very tight.
It is so tight. It is I don't know what to. It is tighter than, easier than like a scuba suit or a wetsuit. Easily tighter, and you need two people to get you in it, which is not embarrassing at all.
How long does it take to put a suit on?
I don't know. No, to get the full thing, half an hour, easily.
Are you done filming it?
This season, yes.
How does
They're only doing 8 episodes. I'm only in 1 because I'm a reoccurring character, or 2. No, I'm in 1, and I can't really tell you what happens, but I'm Starman, but it's about Stargirl. That's all I can say. And I will tell you, Luke Wilson is dreamy. He's a very good actor, and I am not saying that. I mean, he's very good and very funny.
I think he's incredible.
He's also cute as hell, bastard.
Is that a thing that upsets you? Like, because you're the good-looking guy.
Oh, thanks. No, I am. It really helps that I can tell jokes because I think in the quotient of like some people are really funny, but not that makes them more attractive. Where I am averagely handsome, but I can tell jokes that makes it more handsome.
So I watched you navigate how to talk about your looks just now. The pause that you had, and then you chose averagely.
I am definitely. I have been absolutely told in roles like you were not good looking enough for this role, and so you're not getting it.
Give me a role that you didn't get because you weren't good looking.
It
enough.
was for a big campaign. It was for a. What is the product? You got to give me a moment because of my brain. I'm accessing an old file, but it was for a big, huge commercial series, and I was like, I know I'm like sometimes I tell my agent, I was like, I know I killed in the room. I know that happened. And believe me, people, for the 4 people listening, including Rick's mom, I know when I've bombed. Or like I walk out of auditions and go all the time. I'll call my wife. It's a routine we have. I'm like, yeah, I ate shit on that one, so I'll see you soon. I'll be home with dinner because I won't be, whatever. I shit on myself doing that. But there are auditions I've walked out of once in a while. It doesn't happen all the time where I go, that I know I did what I planned to do in there. Like, sometimes when stand-up goes well, like I think a lot of times comedians will shit on themselves, and believe me, I do. And I'll be like, that didn't go great. Once in a while, I'll have a show where I'm like, oh, that was really fun, and I'm not dumping on myself right now. But I remember, what was it for? But I said to my agent, I was like, when I didn't get it, I was like, can you tell me why? Did they tell you why? They're like, she just goes, the guy was better looking. And I went, okay, great.
And
no,
do you
thank
remember who got it? Or was it a random guy?
It was,
if I could remember the name of who you hit in the ski.
I think I know who it was. It was Paul Reiser. Bastard.
I'm laughing, visualizing the side by side here.
No, it was Paul Giamatti. It was Paul Giamatti. It was a Paul. I know it was a Paul. But yeah. Anyway, but as you know, you have to stay in shape. You have to maintain.
I'm in a little bit of a depression since the surgery. Since I can't.
Shoulder surgery.
I'm worried that it's not going to ever come back.
It's like when my wife was like, when she was pregnant, she goes, "Oh, I'm fat." I was like, "You have a living being inside of you that is growing, and you'd better gain weight, and you'd better change shape because then that means that thing is not growing." So, yeah, I get it that you look in the mirror and you're like, I don't feel, and believe me, she looked amazing pregnant. But when you have, she did, but when you have you can't. if you were like, well, I got to get back in the gym a month after the surgery, you blow the surgery out, ruin it forever, and then you really wouldn't be able to work out. Like I know, I'm bragging. Mario Lopez, I know him, but he has needed shoulder surgery. I don't know if he's gotten it. He has needed shoulder surgery forever because he boxes so much. He could kill both of us. But I'm like, did you get that surgery yet? And the guy can barely lift his arm, but I'm like, but you're going to go box today. And he's like, oh yeah. And he's like, once it gets warmed up, I was like, that's not good for that joint. It's going to... Yeah, anyway.
That's why I waited 10 years.
Do you ever go on MoveU on Instagram?
What is that?
It's a really good
An Instagram account?
It's called MoveU, and which is always it's a great thing because they kind of show you how to do exercises correctly. And now I'm sure people are tuning out, but it's really good. And they'll be like, hey, you know when you do this exercise and you feel this? I'm like, that's me. And they're like, here's what you're doing wrong.
Shoulder blades
and then
back.
they show you exactly how. And so now, my whole workout has changed.
Yeah.
It used to be, anyway, I'll stop talking. It's a podcast.
I'll check out MoveU. I think I know how to work out now.
Yeah, no, you'll get there again.
Like
how much have you put on? Like 40 pounds?
I weigh the same amount.
No one believes you.
I lost muscle and I got a little fatter. It's about the same. I'm 190
I'm
pounds.
just giving you crap. Oh, we're about the same.
You're not 190 pounds.
I am. I got on the scale this morning naked and I was 195.
How tall are you?
6'4".
We weigh the same amount?
Not the same. I'm like 5 pounds heavier.
I would have guessed 215.
No. So when I was 220, 221 last summer, my wife saw me naked, which I let her see me naked once a year. Thank you. Surrounded by orchids. And I was like, hey, what do you think? She's like, well, you could lose a couple. And I went, ran.
Was it muscle though?
No, it was like, I was like, oh yeah. I noticed my pants were a little bit tighter. And I was like, oh. And then I just went nuts and I stopped eating sugar.
You have the body and the attitude of somebody who I feel like they don't realize the type of shape you're in until they meet you. Does that make sense?
That I have an attitude of, oh, now you're meeting me in shape?
Like when I see you on stuff, I don't look at your body because you're so animated and you're a comedian. And I don't really think of you like that.
That's the nicest thing you said.
And then I met you in person. I'm like, you're fucking ripped. And I feel like that's kind of like a thing that you maybe have where people meet you like, I didn't know you were like in that kind of shape.
Yeah, I mean, if I show up in a mesh tank top.
I mean, right now you're bulging
shirt.
through your Shark Week shirt.
Shark Week, thanks for mentioning it.
Yeah, it's
I
out
know this won't be posted.
Yeah, it won't be out
then.
in time.
But,
just had Damon Wayans Jr. on and he was talking to me about it.
He is super funny.
He's one of the funniest people I know.
He's, folks out there, that is the funny, he is a funny guy. He is like a sniper with his jokes.
And you did Shark Week with him?
Yes.
Rob Riggle,
Yep.
Adam Devine, Anthony Anderson.
Yes.
That's it, right? You
That's
five?
it, yes.
And why? What is that? Like Shark Week is not star-studded usually.
Well, thanks for thinking I'm a star.
Devine is big.
Devine's got a real career. And I don't know how it all... They had asked before, and I couldn't do it. And then they asked this year, and I'm like, I'm going to fucking do it. And because I really want... people go like, you're gonna get an all-expense-paid trip to go swim with sharks. And I'm like, yes, please, I'm doing it. And my wife was like, way to go, a-hole. No, but it was as sort of thrilling as you would imagine.
It was in Hawaii.
It was in the Bahamas.
Oh, I must have...
I don't know why I think they've gone there before, but this one is definitely...
So you went to the Bahamas and then you go,
I've told this story, not on any podcast, but I'm not certified as a scuba diver, and they were like, okay, we need 5 days. We need you to take a written test, and then we need you to do ocean dives out in Catalina, and so you can get used to it and get more comfortable. And I'm like, you got 2 hours, and we can do it in my pool. And
they certified you?
No, they did not. We weren't in the country, so you don't have to be certified.
So you go to the Bahamas.
I had done scuba diving one other time in the Mediterranean in the 90s.
It was a different time.
It's a very different time. And I had gotten this really great advice from a Navy SEAL at a wedding I married a Navy SEAL. No, when I was a kid, I sat at we got seat. You know, like you sit at the table. I'm like, "What do you do?" And he's like, "I'm in the Navy." And we began to talk. And I love military stuff. So, and then I was like, "Tell me all about it." And this is how it used to sound. And then he was like, "The real key to anything." He's like, "We can do all this crazy stuff," but he goes, "It's just remaining calm. That's what you have to do the whole time. You're just managing. You're managing stress, but you really the more stressed out you get, the deeper you should breathe and really be thoughtful." And I was like, "Oh," and he goes, "So when you're underwater disarming a bomb, you don't go, 'Oh shit, I'm disarming a bomb.' You're just like, 'This is a bomb. I'm going to just breathe slowly. I'm going to be very focused and do that.'" And I was like, "Oh," he's like, "So if you ever do anything," he's like, "Just remain calm." And so that's what I did way back when in the 90s. And then I was like, I'm going to use that again. Because when you're training underwater, you have to take your mask off. And then you have to do it then you have to clear your mask and then get it back on. And that freaks out a ton of people. Anyway, that said, then the next day I was in the Bahamas and we were swimming with sharks.
No cage.
No cage. We had wetsuits on.
Was there any fear? I mean, you're fearing for your life with something like that, right? Or is it just this is an exciting trip?
It was exciting. And I just thought there's enough guys around here. And they told us what not to do, which is... They said they're not going to just swim up and bite you. If you flash your hands in front of them, they might taste you. They might try it out because they'll think that's food that's being offered to them. And I was like, that makes sense. So don't. So I just you keep your hands behind your back and they swim by you and they rub against you.
Didn't your instructor or the guy that was wasn't he missing a leg?
Yeah. So I was missing a hand and a foot. And so I kept making jokes and I'm like, "Yo, yeah, great. Now we're in good hand now."
Yep, sure. Gave an arm and a leg to get this job.
Right. But he had been attacked while he was in Australian Special Forces before he had ever been interested in animals. So he became a shark expert. His name's Paul de Gelder. He's a very interesting man. He became a shark expert after he was attacked. So
by a shark?
He was bit by a bull shark. And his hand and his leg were down like this, and that shark.
Oh shit! One bite.
It bit him and ripped out all his hamstrings, and so he lost the leg because he had to then swam for 20 minutes to get back to the boat without any assistance. Which, I mean, the amount of blood he was pushing out of his heart was crazy. His story is amazing. Paul de Gelder. One of the many Pauls mentioned on this podcast. And he became, he's one of those guys that was like, yeah, I was afraid of flying. I was in a plane crash, so he became a pilot. That sort of guy.
That's crazy. Mm-hmm. So the Shark Week, it's going to be done.
This will never air. Never.
But I want to.
But I'm doing. This will be on before. I did Bear Grylls show, which also was a thrilling thing.
What is that?
Bear Grylls. He's an adventurer. Used to be British Special Forces.
And that's on what?
He's been on the air for 20 years.
I don't know where Minnesota is, my friend.
That is true.
I don't even remember
he's
if it was
on
Minnesota.
Nat Geo. He's been on a bunch of networks, but he's a worldwide phenomenon. I shall now pull up a photo of us climbing out of the Grand Canyon. And you'll go, "Oh, all right. Well, that all makes sense."
Text that to me too, would you?
Well,
I want to put it up.
I have to ask. I will text it to you, but I have to ask if it can be shared. I think it can. There we go. Here's a good shot of it.
And this is you doing what?
Climbing out. I'm below him.
Wow.
Yeah, that was good times.
Man, I don't even leave the house.
You don't even put on shoes.
This is amazing.
That was good times.
Or is this you climbing or rappelling? You said climbing, right?
That's going out. So that was just on a one ascender where you use your foot and you push this thing
cool.
up. It took, I think he was like, wow, he really taking his time. Yeah, it was one of the funnest things I've ever done. I'll send it to you.
I want to talk a little bit about something you probably talked.
Stretch.
It's an awkward. I want to talk a little bit about something that you probably talked about too much, but I really want to. Your relationship with Chevy.
Yes.
And when we did a Futile and Stupid Gesture, for those of you who haven't seen it,
you're idiots if you haven't seen it. It's a magnificent. David Wayne was amazing.
Yeah,
and the writers of that were.
It was a
very good movie.
It was a movie.
I rarely go, I'm in a great movie, but I knew that was a good movie.
It was a very, for me, on my still up on my bulletin board, I have directors I want to work with. There's 2 names up there, and David's one of them.
Yeah,
And
that's
it's so
cool.
exciting to have to work with him, and then to play Harold Ramis in this cast of playing legends with some of these people, you included, are people that I
Will
grew up
Forte
watching. I
was
was
great,
watching you since I was a little kid. When you were like in your probably mid late 20s, and I was like 10, and I was
Right.
watching.
But why do we look the same age?
Oh man, I kind of thought I took a swing at you, and then you used it against me, and
I don't know if it was used against you. I feel like you took a swing and I took a swing back.
I think you used it against.
It was a counterpunch.
It's kind of like I'm this big, strong guy, and you're this little piece of shit, and then you used my strength against me because you're so quick.
Maybe it's your shoulder.
Yeah.
Maybe you hurt your comedy shoulder.
Man, what if I said that, and then we had a falling out too, and then it's like all my guests I just call little bitches, and no one wants to talk to me anymore.
Actually, you should lean it. Just call the whole thing falling out.
Yeah.
I would totally listen to that.
A friend of mine referred to this because I've told him a lot of examples of where people connect very strongly to me and then they don't like me anymore, where it's the Cinderella effect, where people are I'm a princess, but eventually it's gonna strike midnight and I'm gonna be a fucking annoying pumpkin again.
Like if they go into it knowing this now, they've got to know. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, you're still friends with Bill Lawrence, right?
Yeah.
and you've known him for years.
Yeah, I'm
Things are
good.
all right.
I'm good. I've gotten more aware. I just could be very annoying, and I don't realize I'm bothering people. But before I bother
That's
you,
a lot of people, so don't feel bad about that.
yeah, I'm blacklisted from the Groundlings. I was kicked out of school. I mean, I'm kicked out of so many things.
Yeah.
Kicked out of poker games with friends. I've never smoked a cigarette, and I'm like this bad guy that people don't want around when they.
Do you want to smoke a cigarette now?
No, man. I have autism. You're not allowed to do that.
What if I gave you $1,000?
No, I'm saying you're not allowed to offer someone with autism a cigarette.
Why?
You give me $1,000 to smoke a cigarette, I would do it.
All right, I'll be back. But you got to really smoke it.
Like take a puff or smoke the whole cigarette.
You got to smoke the cigarette.
I'll smoke a cigarette for $1,000. Would you really give me $1,000 to smoke a
Well, I
cigarette?
feel like you just rolled over immediately. Like most people would be like, $1,000? Not worth it.
I don't
no
lie.
way.
$1,000 is worth it.
No, but even that, it's not the lying thing. It's the, like if I had offered you $200, would you have done it?
No, I don't think I would do it for less than $1,000.
Somehow I came on I hit the magic. It was like being on The Price is Right and getting the price.
Yes.
So if I said $900, you would have said,
I would say you make it $1,000.
all right.
Well,
Because I know a couple people were there like, well, I'm a vegetarian. I'm like, how about for $10,000? And they'll be like, nope. And
Yeah.
then I'll go 100,000. And they'll go like, maybe. And at 250, they're like, oh, get the steak out.
Have you ever given someone money to do something like that?
I've given my sister-in-law. She is a very selective eater to a point of absurdity in my view. I think at one point she was only eating tortilla chips, and
We'll put up a picture of tortilla chips.
Oh gosh, this is gonna kill me. What? I gave her a few $100 to eat something.
That was more. It seems like more of a survival thing than a goof.
Mm-hmm. I can't remember. It'll come to me. I'm tired.
I want to let you go, so let me bring this up real quick.
Futile and Stupid Gesture.
We did this movie. You played Chevy Chase. Everyone did their own research on stuff,
Yep.
and it was cool. And we hear all these behind-the-scenes stories of all these legends.
Right.
But you literally worked with one for years.
Yes.
And I don't want to. Everyone has reputations and blah blah blah, and I don't need to broaden those.
Well, I think Chevy has a pretty famous reputation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that is a mystery.
I get uncomfortable talking about stuff. I don't mind if you talk about it if you think it's public
You're
information.
hoping I'm just going to go right into it.
No, I'm letting people fill in the blank here.
All right, go ahead. Give me a fill in the blank question.
So I noticed when you were on set, not on camera, but just with me and with other people, you were telling stories. You both told very honest and not criminalizing, but like you told a lot of the negative stuff, but you also, in like a honest but political way, defended him at the same time.
Where's the blank in this question?
The blank was just his reputation. Apparently people don't like him.
Well, he is, because I worked with him on
Community.
a Donald Glover show, and he obviously was older than when he was Fletcher playing Vacation. And number one, the hours were bonkers, but as are a lot of single camera
Right.
shows. Ours was especially difficult because we were making movies every week, and Chevy did not. I think he would agree with everything I'm saying right now. He didn't really want to be there that long because it was 70 to 80 hour weeks. We were shooting until 8 in the morning on Saturdays all the time, and then back at work at 6 a.m. on Mondays. Now, a lot of people right now are going, boo-hoo, you were on TV and you had a lot of long hours. Yes, that's true. And my brother's an electrician, and he tries not to blow himself up every day with electricity. So yes, in that way, you're right. We have food out for us. And but yeah, Chevy didn't want to be there that much, and a lot of that stuff that you read about him it can be very true. And you know, and he had that famous feud with Dan, and a lot of that was published. And yeah, and he definitely did not. He could be difficult on set, and then at the same time as he could be insanely funny. Yeah. And then you see, oh, this is why he was the biggest star of the 80s, because if you watch him on Community, he scores constantly. He is very funny, and there's no doubt, you know, the talent that comes through.
You have a similar thing to what he has, which is just your jokes are your jokes are front and center, but they're all delivered as an aside. Oh. So it's like the eyes are on you, and only because they're on you could you score with these things that are like off to the side. And it's great. I love it. I love that. But it's very him. And then you have a similar thing, and then you played him, so him. So it was such an amazing performance.
Oh, thank you.
And is that Joel McHale, or is it because you saw him and you were able to mimic him? Like, it seemed like you were doing an impression of him.
Well, my goal was not to just do it. My goal was to capture his essence. Because he's the most confident man on the planet. When you meet him, he's like, I am the greatest. And I used that attitude. That was the through line. But I just went back because I knew Chevy as a later on in a different version than 1975 Chevy Chase, which is what I was playing. So I went back and just watched endless hours of him doing sketches, him in interviews, because him in interviews is just like anybody, trying to think of like Bjorn Borg being interviewed in 1976 is different than today's Bjorn Borg.
You're telling me.
Right. It's your favorite. You ever heard of him?
Oh, I thought it was a her. No, yeah, I know. We'll put up a picture of Bjorn with Paul Reiser.
Television.
No, I'm good. I'm happy.
Yeah, he was a television actor.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
I know. MASH.
Right. He was amazing. He played that lady.
So you
no. Anyway, so I studied the early Chevy Chase endlessly, and so then I would get the script, and I would see the words, and I was like, I bet that. And he also had a very deep voice. So I would scream in my trailer. I would scream into a pillow to wreck my voice, so my voice could be as deep as his.
The show is about Doug Kenney, the creator of National Lampoon, and Chevy was an integral part of the story, the movie, and also his life.
Yes,
and
they were best friends.
And you told me that you talked to him about that.
Yeah, when I called him to let him know I was playing him. But I was like, the movie is about Doug Kenney, and he was like, oh, that's so great. He finally would get his due. He'll finally get some attention, because Doug Kenney really did change comedy in America in a big way with Caddyshack and Animal House and Lampoon, and everyone from SNL came up through there out of the first cast, and so then he died very tragically, and he was kind of forgotten about. I call him the Alexander Hamilton of comedy, and so I felt like so he was very happy that
he signed off. But did he like that you were playing him? Do you know that the answer to that?
He laughed. I was like, I just want to let you know, it's not some sort of, it is not a send up of you. This is about.
What does that mean? It's not a send up.
It's not a joke. This is about Doug. It's
right.
About these people, and I think half the reason why David cast me is because we're the same size.
Did you have you talked to him since it came out? Do you know how he feels?
I called him right before and go like, hey, it's coming out. You should see it. And he was like, all right, well, see you later. And we didn't talk very long. But I know that Norm Macdonald asked him if he had seen it, and he had not seen it yet. So I don't know.
You happy with the performance?
When I watch, of course, in certain scenes I'm happy, in other scenes I'm mad. I go like, ugh, should have done it differently. It's fine.
I thought you were so good in it.
Thank you. I made sure I did not want to play him at all, like, because he's a very cool customer when he's mellow. When he's not performing, he's kind of very even keel and talks very low, and that's what I kept trying to capture. And the confident. I've never met anybody more confident.
Well, I could talk to you for a while about this, but we'll wrap up the podcast. But
Yeah, I feel like I've done a lot.
yeah, you did a lot,
We started right at like 12:40.
and it was cool. It was cool for you to do this with someone like me, who's a new young up and comer
Well,
in Hollywood.
I wouldn't say you're
He's just going to start.
new or
he's,
up and
he's going
coming.
to start blowing up soon.
We'll see.
Yeah, well, I got a big show that might be made, and
See?
and a podcast that people are
You
losing
got
their mind
18
over.
orchids clapping.
So to end this, I want to have a big moment.
All right.
Something, and I guess I do want to put you on the spot.
Do it.
Do you
So
play,
then I can go, right?
yeah. Do you play the guitar?
No.
Do you sing?
No. Not really.
All right. Well, that's Joel McHale on Take Your Shoes Off podcast. Tune in next week when we have.
And if I could sing, you couldn't afford the song. You got to pay for that shit.
No, you're allowed to sing up to 30 seconds.
30 seconds.
Yeah. If you were to sing a song.
What song? You name it. I'm not going to know it.
Kiss from a Rose.
That's not in my range.
Anything could be in your range.
That's not true.
Name a song.
Tiptoe Through the Tulips by Tiny Tim.
Yep.
In the key that he chose. And the
Yeah. I'm going to bring it down a few octaves.
No, I can't do. I don't want. That would be dishonoring him.
Well, then I think we missed our dismount.
No, I think we nailed it.
Thank you for tuning in to Take Your Shoes Off podcast. My name's Rick Glassman. And if you enjoy...
My name's Joel McHaleman.
Let me get my thing out real quick.
Go ahead.
And then you could.
Do it.
Thank you so much for tuning...
Action.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Take Your Shoes Off podcast.
Are you done?
No, I'm going to say my name's Rick Glassman with our guest Joel McHale, and then you could...
You did it. All right. Thank
Okay.
you so much, Rick Glassman. Rick Glassman, ladies and gentlemen. Still recording. Here come the cops.
Scoot
That's how hot it was.
Blabbity blue.